Starting our discussion with, getting an evaluation of where do we actually stand. If we look at the gender ratio in the class, especially for the top P schools in India, we see that the number is not very impressive as compared to the international standards, which is around 41%. And the Indian schools, they do not have a lot of representation on this account. Now, there are so many factors which do, prevent women from going ahead, and especially in this case, in the mid-career, as mid-career professionals, women in India do take career breaks. They have, they have to look after their families. They have so many other values that they also bring to the table. But again, these values are something that the business world will also benefit from. This is the discussion that where we want to, with our panelists, understanding their stories. These panelists have been achievers in their own fields, and they have covered the gap. They are currently pursuing executive MBA programs. So looking at their, inspiring stories and taking some takeaways for future aspirants too. Let me introduce to you Shraddha and Madhusmita. So Ms. Shraddha, she is the Assistant Vice President for Corporate Credit at Sinhan Bank. And Ms. Madhusmita Sen, she is a technical specialist and an Azure engineer with Hexaware Technologies. Both are established professionals in their fields, and they have pursued and they are currently pursuing an executive MBA to further their professional growth. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate them for the success that they have achieved and welcome them to share their stories and their inspiring journey with us. So, thank you, Shraddha, and thank you, Madhusmita, for joining us. Shraddha, please tell us about.
Thanks a lot, Shruti. It's such a nice initiative that you have taken. It is really a need of time. You have already highlighted the importance of women representation, and it shows that why there is a huge gap when it comes to senior management. So we see very few women representation. If you see the board of directors of so many organizations, so the number is so skewed that at times I feel that whether it is because there are no represent, or whether at times they have just nominated somebody because women representation has been a mandate now. So at times I feel that. So that actually shows the lack between the number of people who are actually required to represent on board and bring diversity from the top. Where we see the junior level, we have good number of females who join, and slowly that number keeps on reducing. So that is what I have also seen over these years. In engineering colleges, there would be a good representation of girls who are actually joining. So from there to actually switch your gear to MBA, and especially the executive MBA, takes more than just your decision. By the time you're probably, for maybe some 60-70%, they're already married, they are earning okay, and probably they have a child or are expecting a child, or they do have plans to have a child. So those things actually, you keep on taking the more important things in your life, and you give it a kind of less and less importance. So it has to come in totality from the family, as well as as a society. So if we have good number represented in executive MBA, we will also see more people joining the senior wagon, and then probably moving to board of directors over a period of time. That is what happens. And at times I've seen that even women, when they are at senior roles, tend to take a back seat. So if there is a very challenging project which is about to come, probably because you are supposed to move to some other country, or then again you'll have so many things to think about, whether how my family is going to sustain, whether it's good for my family. So those things are also the things which I feel have been bothering many of us. Probably as of now, I am pursuing BGP Pro, and I'm quite satisfied with the curriculum and the kind of journey that I'm going with all my cohort members. and I feel happy to be in in a position, grateful that I could pursue this MBA at this stage in my life, and it would have not been possible without Shruti's mentorship and also my family's support. That is it. What I would like to begin with.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. So, Shraddha, you rightly mentioned that, when women have to take a lead or they have to step up to, pick up a certain challenging project, there are so many other things that, push them backwards. What are the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
For me, I started my career from being a kind of a agri specialist, and I worked initially with small and medium enterprises. So during those days, I was really not sure, how to maneuver myself through this kind of setup. And I had to interact with the people, those who were from diverse backgrounds, especially the ones who were very small. The most important, I'll say that initially when I had started, I was not very sure how to move ahead, because I come from an agri background setup. There it is a very male dominated field. By that I mean that yes, females can survive, but however it requires a lot of and fro, and you need to actually speak to a lot many people, those who might not be as much educated. So that was initial challenge for me. If I But slowly I was able to actually understand the uh, way it functions. And after that, I had moved ahead, and I have moved transition from there to corporate banking. Most important challenge would have been to come forth and be very, very objective about your work. For me, because it was very difficult in terms of bringing, what should I say, that at times your personality also comes along with the work. So I am very objective about my work. So I have a plan with me. I'll execute that, and I would finish it off, and I would come back home, and this was what I was aiming at. So the work life balance, I was trying to hit it very strongly. However, that was not working in my favor. Like for maybe a year or so, I did that, but it was not working in my favor. In the sense, I realized that organization is expecting a little bit more from me in terms of my contribution. So only meeting my KPIs would not serve me to move ahead with my way of functioning. So frankly, I had changed that, and I then started kind of taking on roles and responsibilities from uh, other departments also, and slowly that has really helped me. And as a person, as a kind of an individual, I have got that opportunity to learn more about banking than what I was able to previously. And that has also given me a sense of business know-how, because my work is to analyze businesses day on day. So now, because when I am able to interact with so many departments and verticals, I understand business from the raw business to the one which are very, very well managed. So I feel like, if to put it together, I'll say that we just cannot have a very skewed vision. If you really want to progress, then it will be good if if we try to understand the customer part, the and also the supplier part, the customer part, the organization goal. And if organization goal is bigger than what your department can contribute, we just need to step up and try to contribute more, I suppose. So I hope I have answered, because it came out
Yes.
random. So
No, no, it's perfectly fine. So, another, aspect over here is that the personal brand. We don't talk about or think about a personal brand as an agenda. So, it's
yeah.
probably not the thing that we do maintain as a parallel agenda in terms of looking at our careers or looking ourselves professionally. So, what do you think has contributed to your building your personal brand, and how has it developed over the years, and how do you think about it, and you know, what is most important to build a personal brand for that matter?
Yeah, Shruti, I'll say that it's very important to, actually learn a lot from your people or your leadership in your organization. So, if we are able to, get in contact with them, and if we are able to interact with them, then there is a lot of scope to learn many, characteristics and virtues which are really required to, move ahead in your career, or, to become a better contributor as a team member. So I feel as a team lead, or as a, as a manager managing a team, and
So, what do you think is important in terms of, building a personal brand? What are the steps
okay.
that you
Mhm.
took and you would suggest?
Yeah, so I'll say that being a good, first of all, being a good team member and being able to actually contribute in your best capability is first thing which I feel is important. And once you move from being a team member and you start, you have your own team, you start building your own team, then being very empathetic and to hit a balance wherein we are able to understand how your team members are working and how the output can be managed. Is one thing which I feel, if as a leader, if we are aiming at, we should look into it. And if I see my personal growth and like what personal brand I carry, then I'll say that if people will recognize me for being a I'm very driven. So at times I may come out as very very objective that this is what we need to do. But on the same hand, I am also very empathetic about the team members that I am having, and over years I'll say that I am somebody who people can rely on, and uh, I have developed this over a period of time, and I'll say that my most important trait would be that I'm able to understand the business part as well as the the human nature of the team members. So that I feel is what I'm capable of. So that has helped me a lot, and that was not there in me initially, but over a period of time, I'll say that this is what I'm known for in my industry.
Yes. So pursuing an MBA degree or maybe an executive MBA program, after certain years of spending time with your career and actually more than around 8 or 10 years of working, how do you adapt your schedule and how pursuing an MBA helps you at this particular stage in your career? So what are the expectations that one should actually have from a program when you're entering after a certain amount of work experience and that to a considerable amount of work experience?
We really have lots of time in our life, and at times when we say we don't have, it's not true. The more we try to actually gear ourselves up, I have realized I am really, if one thing, if PGP Pro has really inculcated in me would be the valuing time actually in the most. I never fathomed that I'll be able to really do so many things. Initially, I was really skeptical because I have a child who's just 3 years old, and I do have a family. I have so many issues going on, just like anybody else. But once I have embarked the journey, I really feel very good about it. Even I have tested my limitations, and I feel that time and energy, your focus, everything shifts, and you are even able to give more to your organization, to your family, and to the journey which I'm doing for executive MBA. And I feel that during the course, there are few moments when you realize you know how to do things, but if you are back with the theory and some practical examples, you at times really feel that this thing is something which is the fundamental principle moments for all of us who are there. And because we have been kind of uh, groomed our personalities in a manner over a long period of time. But I feel once we are in MBA program, there are so many people. There is such a variety of your cohort, and you interact with so many people. It's really amazing actually. and not only learning from them, it's also that they just become a part of your it's like at times you feel that I just need a more number of friends, if I say so. So you get to know so many people, and you really not only get to know them, you get to learn from them. And if there is a small issue, if there is an assignment, then as a group, if you're able to do it, I felt that my way of thinking is, because I come from a finance background, so I'll have only numbers to look at, and I'll always be like, I'll think of a problem in a certain fashion. But when I interact with somebody who's from manufacturing or somebody who's from operations, their way of thinking is so different, and I am amazed to see that. So that is very enriching for me. And at this stage in my career, I feel this was the real good decision that I have taken. So whosoever is listening to this, there'll be lots and lots of challenges, because you'll have your appraisal to take care of, you'll have your team to get appraised, and then there'll be many new assignments that we get from our like workplace, even personal things. But once we have embarked this journey, we just need to set our time right. If our timeline, if we have scheduled our day in a proper manner, I undoubtedly will say this will be a beautiful thing that all of us will think of doing.
And you rightly mentioned at the in the beginning of the discussion that you do see a lot of female representation at the engineering or the undergraduate level, but when it comes to the higher levels in the organization, that is probably where you need an executive MBA. So that is where the numbers recede largely. So how the MBA that you are pursuing, or how does it help break that glass ceiling of getting to the top of the organization?
So once you have decided, you have made your mind, you are there, you start trying to link the courses you're going through and the work you're doing, and also you try to understand the larger picture. If it comes to just to fundamental things like how a business works, so MBA is just not about a degree. If you get MBA, you'll come to know so many aspects of business. You'll also come to know that there are certain principles governing like how the businesses have been working, and how in future those fundamentals remain same. However, over a maybe due to certain business market changes, how a company is changing its strategies and its goals. So I feel that for me, during the very first month itself, I really felt kind of enlightened. I was very happy about many things that we were taught, especially because we started with OB, organizational behavior, and it really helped me to understand the team dynamics from the team members' perspective. When you grow in your career, you also need to understand the people who are your backbone. So people, those who are actually supporting you. Once you understand like why somebody is not able to contribute as much as someone else, maybe it's not the right team, or maybe it is because of some other factors. So I feel that objective for me really has worked. And once you are in a leadership role, there are certain you need to carry yourself in a manner which is sometimes very important. If it's not just about doing an MBA, if you have done MBA, you know how to deliver a good presentation. You also know how to interact with a group of people. You also understand that if some other industry, I have people to whom I can go back and ask, I do have this sort of doubt, can you please help me? Sometimes we feel the gap, like if I'm moving from a leadership role to a management role, then we feel a gap, maybe I have a lack, or maybe some kind of imposter syndrome. Executive MBA will just help us to understand some very important fundamentals of business that actually all the organizations are aiming at. So with terms of profitability or revenue. So if we understand those, then we'll be in a very better position to showcase ourselves in front of the management. And at times it comes because if you start seeing the bigger picture, if you start understanding how the organizations are functioning and what their strategy is going to be, so those things I have really I have actually gained it from the course. And I feel this is what is required when you attain some level of experience, and you are moving from mid or senior to management roles. So for me, this I'll say, Shruti, this was one thing that I have understood till now.
Yes, I think the decision, for a woman to uh, get onto this track is mostly her own. She has to, prioritize her own self and her own career, her own aspirations. And at that moment, she has to take that decision as to, okay, I take care of the rest of the things, and as along with that, I will take care of my career growth as well. So, what would be your advice for women who aspire to get into top MBA programs or top, levels in the institutions or the organizations that they're working at? What are the roadblocks that they might face, or they should kind of start overcoming at an early stage in their career itself?
Because we all are talking about women today, so some friend of mine, she has told me a very nice story. So she said that for a individual as a human being, be it a woman or a like a male, so our plate is this size, and we have 5 fingers. So if my 5 fingers have capability of doing so and so, and before joining MBA I was able to do, say for example, take my son to something, or do this, do this, do this, do this, and now I am adding a sixth finger, which is pursuing something which was not a part of my agenda for maybe a year or maybe 2 years. So I have to drop one of the finger. So it's a very very important thing that I was very happy to learn about. So one finger doesn't mean the one which you can hand it over, you can delegate, or you can ask for help, or you can seek help from your family members if somebody can take, or maybe even 80% of that finger work. So your the new finger will get easily adjusted, so you will be able to justify your all parameters in your life which were important as per your priority, and without kind of compromising on the quality of deliverables. There are a few things that you really want to be there for. So if traveling was one thing, or going on vacations, so we can reduce it, like. So I mean to say, if some women who's thinking of coming on board with doing executive MBA, and is worried about how the family is going to be taken care of, or any of those things, I feel that most of the things are there in our heads. And if we start kind of just linking my day on day activity, and making to begin with, to start getting 1 hour exclusively for reading or something, so I feel that we'll be easily able to move ahead
Manage all the
for this.
responsibilities.
Yes, yes.
Yes, manage and actually
So
do well.
Shruti, you exactly wanted to because I answered this question, the previous one, when you were saying how to strike a work life balance.
Right. So, how important is, mentorship, or how important, or what other things do you think the external environment should facilitate in terms of, bringing out more female leaders, and maybe um, external environment which can be put into
Mhm.
place?
Shruti, whatever conversations we are having, we should have them more, and we should have them more frequently. Like, I mean to say, I'm talking about the people, those who we know of. So it has to start from the very beginning, when somebody is joining your organization. So from there on, a mentorship program should be there, well in place, and not only the ones which are just for the namesake, but the real ones wherein you are actually trying to motivate your female workers in a manner which is, I'm not saying which is biased, but in a manner which is very gender neutral, however, which actually helps them understand that what is the importance of being a leader, what is the importance of kind of setting some kind of role model in your team, and how to actually see yourself maybe 5 years or 6 years or 10 years after, where you really want to go. It should start from the internal organization level itself, and we should have more of those. So if more and more people come forth and actually interact, and there are so many stories, there'll be so many people if we interact with 100, then there'll be 100 stories. So the more we come to know, I might relate with few of them. So that sets an example. If there is a senior person who tells me, she has been through this and this, and she was able to uh, you know really stand apart and move ahead in her career, and because, or maybe she did executive MBA and she was able to understand or move ahead in her career, and she might be in a very good place now. So those journeys at times are very very important, especially when it comes to women, because at times we are not able to understand how to actually navigate our thoughts, or how to actually pay more attention to what your work life. So those things, I feel, if we have more examples, it will become easier for others also to actually follow the path. So I feel that that would be one thing, and it also begins with one thing, that if I have a team member who's a female and is about to go on maternity leave, or per se she's returning from maternity leave, how do I need to train her? How will I absorb her back? And how, from there, how I'm going to mentor her to get back, understand the business, because in 6 months might be things would have changed, and what role suits her now. So just to give her a breather for maybe another 4, 5, or 6 months, so by the time her child is 1 year, she'll be all in a very good position, because I know at times when somebody joins back, they are worried about the child, and organizations might not take it that well. Those things are bound to happen. So if internally we have those things at place, there is a committee wherein we know how to absorb them back. That really works well in organizations. I know it's working in larger organizations, but it also should come in the smaller organizations, wherein we have already less number of women representation, and this will inculcate a very healthy work environment, and people will feel you'll be able to retain more number of workforce. It starts from a very small thing, but it gets amplified as we go ahead.
It can be done at many levels. So one can be at the organizational level,
Yeah.
and as an individual as well, you can contribute to as many avenues where you can get into mentorship, or maybe just look taking care of your employees. Even that is good enough, because
Yeah.
that is also helping one female retain her confidence in her work capabilities. Because the more you go away from your work, the more difficult it becomes getting back to work.
Yes.
And you'll keep on getting, the gap only widens more or less. Thank you for your time and your thoughts.